I believe now you know about different plane shapes, and I believe that you can now know how to find their perimeter and their area. Okay, so but in everyday today life, what we see is it doesn't have plane shapes and they are not common. Okay, so we combine a lot of shapes so that our products can be useful and our species can be beautiful. Okay, so that was that. Now we are going to look at combined shapes. Okay, so we're going to be finding the area and the perimeter of combined shape. Okay, so our objective here, we're going to break down compound shape. Okay, so we're going to be breaking down the compound shapes to the common shapes we know, and we're going to find the total perimeter and the total area. Okay, so the first thing we are going to understand here is what are combined shapes. Okay, so combined shapes, these are shapes. Okay, so where shapes where more common shapes are combined together. Okay, so this here creates a very complex shapes. Okay, so we have this shape and this shape and this shape, and they are combined together. Okay, so they are called combined shapes. Okay, so this is it. Okay, so how do we break down to find their perimeter and to find their area? Okay, so how do we break down? Okay, so the most important breakdown it is the breakdown to find the area. Okay, so remember that to find the area, you are just going to break down this shape in straight lines. Okay. And if you want to find the perimeter, okay, so this is easy. Okay, what you just have to do is you just have to follow the path. Okay, so we're just going to follow the outside of a shape, and when we see it is a curve, we know that there is a circle here, and we are going to find it. And when we see that we have a triangle here, we're just going to it. Okay, so the perimeter part is very easy. Okay, so make sure you understand this. The combined shapes, there are many shapes in the same shape, and we're going to see how do we break them into the parts we can work with. Here we're going to start finding the perimeter of a combined shape. Here we have our combined shape. Here we can see that here we have our trapezium here, and it is combined with this triangle here. Okay, so what we're going to do here, we are just going to find its perimeter. Okay, so I told you that to find the perimeter, what you do is you just start from a certain corner, then start to add all the outside sides. Okay, the edges, the outside side of a shape. Okay, here we can see that here we have 10 centimeter, 4 centimeter. This 5 centimeter is at the middle. Okay, so we don't need to add it. Okay, so in this case, we're going to say 10 centimeter plus 4 centimeter plus another 4 here, and we have another 8 centimeters here, and we have this 6 centimeters. Now we can see that we are back where we were. Okay, so now our next duty is just to add all of this and find our answer. Okay, so here we can see we have 8 plus 8, it becomes 16. 16 plus 6, you're going to get 22. 22 plus 10, you're going to get 32. Okay, so this is the perimeter. Okay, so this means that the perimeter of this is 32 centimeters. Okay, now let's take a look at the area of L-shaped figures. Okay, so we have this, it is like an L like this. Okay, so we're going to see how do we find the area. Okay, so I remember I told you that to find the area of a combined shape, you can see that here there are two rectangles which are combined. Make sure you cut it into the common shapes you know, and make sure you cut it in a straight line. Okay, so in this case, you're going to cut a straight line like this, and you're going to say this area is area A and this area is area B. Okay, so what we do is this, we know that let's find all the sides of area B. What do we need to find? You can see that this area A is a rectangle and this area B is a rectangle again. Okay, so what do we do here? We're just going to find the sides of area B. Okay, so you can see that we have these sides of the area B, and in this case, you're going to see that we have this is 12 centimeters, right? And minus this 5, we're going to find this remaining. Okay, so this means that this one is 7 centimeters. Okay, so this is what we do. The first thing we do, we're cutting this area in a straight line like this. Okay, then after that, we're going to identify the shapes and make sure you identify the other sides. Okay, so in this case, you can see that this side is 12 centimeters. So we're going to say 12 minus 5 find the other sides here. Okay, so this is 7 centimeters. Okay, so now our next duty is to find the area of A. Okay, so we're going to say A area. In this case, we're going to say area is 10 here, the length, and the width is 5 centimeters. Okay, so we're just going to say 10 multiplied by 5. Okay, so in this case, you can see that the area of A is 50 centimeter squared. Okay, so make sure you remember the units and make sure you remember how to calculate. Okay, then the other thing is you're going to go and beam and you're going to find again the area. Okay, so in this case you can see that we have 7 centimeters the length and we have 3 centimeters the width. Okay, so this means that we're going to say 7 times 3. Okay, so in this case you're going to see that our area of B is going to become 21. Okay, so now to find the total area of this shape, okay, the total area of this shape, what we do is we just say 50 plus 21. We're just going to add these areas. Okay, so in this case, you're going to say 50 plus 21. We're going to get 71 centimeter squared. Okay, so this means that the area of this L shape is 71 centimeter squared. Okay, so the key takeaways in this case is you just have to cut it into common shapes. In this case, it was rectangles. And the other thing is you're going to find the sides which are not given. In this case, you are not given how long is this side, but you can find it by saying 12, the whole length, 12 minus 5, you're going to get 7 here. Okay, so this is it. Now, let's take a look at another concept which is important in these combined shapes. The next part we are going to look at is area with semicircles or quarter circles. Okay, so let's take a look at the area of a circle. Okay, so area. I told you that given a circle, we know that the area of a circle is pi r squared. Okay, so this is the area of a circle. Okay, so now we're going to look at the area of the semicircles or quarter circles. Okay, so let's say this is a half circle, is what we call a semicircle. Okay, so we have our radius here. Our radius is the distance from the center to the circumference. Okay, so what we do is we have in this case it's a semicircle. Okay, so to find the area of a semicircle, we're just going to say, you know that this is the half of a circle. Okay, so this means that we're just going to say half pi r squared. In this case, we can simply find the area of a semicircle. Okay, so if it's a quarter like this, we are just going to say 1 over 4 pi r squared. Okay, so this is what we do to find the area of a semicircle or a quarter circle. Okay, you just have to say half or a quarter. Okay, so if you are given a certain angle here, okay, you can just say that angle over 360 times this area. Okay, so if there is a certain angle, you can just say theta over 360 times pi r squared. Okay, so make sure you remember these things. Okay, if there is an angle, okay, if you don't understand the angles, please watch my video when I explain about what is an angle and how do we deal with it. Okay, so now this is it on the area. Okay, so to find the perimeter is just the same. You just have to change this area. Okay, so if it is a perimeter of a semi, we are just going to say half pi d or half 2 pi r. Okay, so this is it. This is what we do to find the same. Okay, so if it's a quarter, we just have to say 1 over 4 pi d, or we're just going to say 1 over 4 2 pi r. Okay, so this is it. This is what you do if you want to find the area of a semicircle or a quarter circle. Next part is add and subtract areas. Okay, so given areas, you have to know which to subtract and which to add. Okay, so what we were saying in this case, we were saying about adding. Okay, so in other ways we are asked to subtract the areas. Okay, so in this case we have a shaded and unshaded areas. Okay, so when you are given this, you have to know which area to subtract. Let's say in this case you are being asked to find this shaded area. Okay, so let's say you have this length and this width, and you have the radius of this circle. Okay, so what you do is you're going to find the area of this shape. Okay, so what you're going to do, the whole shape, you're going to say you want to find the area or the shaded area. Okay, so let's say S area. Okay, so what you do is you to find the whole area. Okay, so in this case it's length times width, and after finding that, you are going to subtract the area of this circle. Okay, so in this case it's pi r squared. Okay, so this is what you do on shaded areas. Okay, given any shape, in this case sometimes you can be given a triangle inside this. Make sure what you do is you just find the area of the whole shape and you subtract the little shape we have. Okay, so this is it on shaded and unshaded. Make sure you find the area of the whole shape and subtract the unshaded part. Okay, and the other thing is we have combined areas. I remember I told you about this. In this case, we have a rectangle here. What you do is just have to find the length here and the width here, and find the the radius here, and after that you are going to find the area of this shape and this shape, and you're going to add. Okay, so remember that when it is shaded and unshaded, you're going to subtract some areas, and when it is combined shape, you're going to add these shapes. Okay, so make sure you understood this. It's very important. In many exams they ask this. Okay, now let's go to the next part and we'll take a look at an example where we need to use combined areas. This is an exam type question. I saw it in another exam. Okay, so in this case, it is a track. You can see that this is the shape of a track. Here it's 100 meters, and I don't know the it's 100 meters here. Okay, so this is just a rectangle. In this case, you can see that this area, the shape A, it is a rectangle, and you can know that this shape B is just a semicircle, and this shape C is a semicircle again. Okay, so you can know that B and C are equal. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just asked to find the perimeter and the area. Okay, so this is an exam time question. I saw it in another exam question. So make sure you pay attention and understand it. Okay, so the first thing is to find the perimeter. You just need to find the length of the edges of this. Okay, so in this case, we're going to start from this corner. Okay, so from this corner, you can see that, let's say, perimeter. Okay, so you can see that here we have 100 meters. So we're going to say 100, then we add. Okay, so in this case, we have a semicircle like this. Okay, so a semicircle, we need to find its length. Okay, the length of this arc from here to here. Okay, so we take it from we say half. And I told you that to find the length of a semicircle, what you do is we say half pi d or half 2 pi r. Okay, so in this case, we have a radius, which is 31.8. Okay, so in this case, we're going to say 2 times pi. Okay, so pi I'm going to be using 3.1415. Okay, then we're going to multiply it by the radius. In this case, it is 31.8. Okay, so this is it. We have found this. Okay, so now the next thing we are going to find again, you see that this is a rectangle, so this means that it's 100 again. Okay, so we're going to add 100 again, and after finding 100 again, we're going to need to find this again. Okay, so it is the same here. Okay, so this means that it's half 2 multiplied by 3.1415, then we multiply by 318. Okay, so this is it. Now our duty is just to punch this on calculator and find our answer. Our answer is 399.79. Okay, so this is the perimeter of this. Okay, so we can simply say it's approximately 400 meters. Okay, so okay, it's the meters here. Okay, so we can simply say it's 400 meters. This means that this track is 400 meters. Okay, so we can say that this is a 100 and this is 100. Okay, so this is how we do to find the perimeter of this. Okay, now our next duty is we are asked to find the area. Okay, so to find the area, we're just going to find the area of B and C and add it with the area of A. Okay, so to find the area of, I told you that B and C, they're equal. Okay, so we're just going to say 2 multiplied by the area of C. Okay, so to find the area of C, I told you that you're just going to say half. Okay, then you're going to say pi r squared. Okay, so this is it. We have found the area of C. Then we're going to add it with the area of A. Area of A, you are just going to say length times width. Okay, so substituting this, you're going to say 2 times and half here. Then our pi here, in this case, I'm going to use 22/7. And our radius is 31.8. Okay, then you're going to say plus our length is 100 and our width in this case is 31.8 plus 31.8 because this radius start from here to the circumference. Okay, so this means that our width in this case is 31.8 plus 31.8. Okay, so this is it. Now our duty is just to punch this calculator and find our answer. Okay. Okay. So in this case, we're going to get our area is 645.9. Okay. So this becomes our answer. Okay. So this is that on this. Okay. So when you are asked to find the combined shape, you are just going to cut them up and you make sure you find the area. And you want to find the perimeter, you're just going to go around and adding the sides. Okay. So that was that. Make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss the part where we're going to explain more on exam questions and more on the required answers. Okay.